Imagine you are being eaten by a fish, a glowing giant from the deep ocean. You're alone. It's dark. Yet after 3 days, you return unharmed. Sounds unreal? Then Jonah's story is really for you. Long ago, in a land bathed in golden light and ancient winds, lived a prophet named Jonah, chosen by God, burdened with a mission, and destined to witness the power of mercy. He was no warrior, no king, just a humble prophet, a man with trembling hands, a heart full of questions, and a divine calling that would shake nations. One morning, as golden light bathed the hills of Israel, a voice thundered from the heavens. Jonah stood still, his soul trembling beneath the weight of a divine call. The landscape around him shifts, bathed in light, not of this world, trembling with sacred weight. From the unseen, a voice echoes deep, commanding, divine, a call not just to a man, but to a mission. Go to Nineveh, the voice thundered. Warn them, tell them to turn from their ways. The light grew brighter, flooding the void with holy fire. And God's words, etched in power, stayed in Jonah's heart. But Jonah was afraid. Nineveh was cruel, powerful, far from home. Its name alone stirred fear in every heart. And Jonah, just one man, was asked to face it with only a message and a prayer. Nineveh? They're cruel, Lord. Scary. I don't think they'll listen. Instead of heading east to Nineveh, Jonah turned west. He hurried to the harbor, hoping to disappear into the sea. As Jonah approached the harbor, the cries of seagulls pierced the air, sharp and restless, like his thoughts. His eyes, filled with nervous energy, darted across the busy scene. Meanwhile, on the vast ship deck, a weathered captain stands by the railing. His salt-crusted beard tells of storms survived. He scans the sea not just for danger, but for something deeper. His eyes, pools of untold stories, scan the horizon, reflecting years of battling fierce storms. Jonah steps forward, eyes lowered, the storm within him barely contained. The captain's gaze sharpens, curious, cautious, his face a mask carved by years of judgment and survival. Welcome aboard, stranger. Bound for Tarshish? Yeah. As far away as this ship will go. The sea stretched wide and endless, but there was no escape from the voice that still echoed in his soul. However, his journey started now, around midnight. Under the cover of a storm, a violent tempest unleashes its fury upon the open sea. Each wave that rocked the boat felt like a question he couldn't answer. Amidst the howling wind and towering waves, sailors battled against the elements, their figures silhouetted against the raging storm. Above the chaos, the captain's voice pierces through, a desperate shout against the overwhelming power of nature. The storm rages relentlessly, testing the limits of both man and vessel. The sea roared like a wounded beast, cold breath, endless hunger. Wood groaned, sails snapped, and the sky wept salt and fury. Creation itself seemed to mourn Jonah's defiance. The deck tidled precariously, throwing sailors off balance as the vessel groans under the assault. Each wave rose like judgment, and the ship danced on the edge of oblivion. "Pray to your gods. We're going to sink," shouted one sailor. His voice was a desperate plea against the storm's roar. The ship lists further, a chaotic dance with death. The ocean roars, relentless, as if demanding payment. Each wave threatens to swallow man, wood, and hope alike. The captain feels scared. They wonder if the storm will ever stop. Crashing waves and howling wind pound the ship. It groans, battered by the raging sea, fighting to stay afloat as nature roars, relentless and wild, demanding surrender. Jonah stood defiantly at the edge of the storm-tossed deck, a solitary figure against the tempest. His voice rises above the storm's fury, a desperate confession tearing from his throat. "This storm is my fault. Throw me into the sea and it will stop," Jonah cries out, offering himself to the unforgiving waves. With trembling hands, the sailors lifted Jonah. The storm screamed louder, as if protesting the prophet's surrender. Then a splash. Jonah sinks deeper into the silent blue, his body limp, his spirit quiet. The weight of disobedience fades, replaced by something softer, surrender. Jonah vanished beneath the waves, and in that instant, the sea fell silent. The sea, once a tempestuous beast, now lies placid, reflecting the fading light of the sky. Bubbles rise like fading prayers, drifting toward the light he can no longer see. The water grows colder, the pressure builds, but Jonah does not resist. He is alone, yet somehow not abandoned. And then, from the deep, very deep, a glowing giant rose. Its scales shimmered like stars in the sea, lighting up the darkness with wonder. Jonah, still sinking, opens his eyes to a glowing leviathan, vast, majestic. The creature's mouth yawns open, not in anger, but in purpose. But Jonah is terrified, and before Jonah can speak, the great fish swallows him whole. Darkness surrounds him once more, but this time, it's not the end. Jonah trembles, afraid and alone. Jonah finds himself enveloped by darkness, which surrounds him once more, but this time, it is not the end. Jonah kneels in the belly of the great fish, his breath shallow, his heart heavy. The walls pulse with the rhythm of a living creature, but Jonah is still. He clasps his hands and whispers into the silence. 3 days pass, in quiet prayer, each moment a step closer to surrender. And in that silence, Jonah begins to change. In this silence, light found him, and he found the light. From the deep I cried for help, and you heard me. Inside the belly of the great fish, the darkness begins to yield as a faint light pierces through. Jonah remains steadfast, his silhouette illuminated by the emerging dawn, his voice a low hum against. Suddenly, a colossal fish heaves Jonah onto golden sand. He collapses, gasping salt, sun, and mercy washing over him. The sea retreats, but God's call remains. He collapses to his knees, the weight of his ordeal pressing him towards the earth. Jonah, gasping, the air, the light, I'm alive. You heard me. Even from the depths, a burst of light fills the sky, pure, bright, and beautiful. It feels like standing in front of a king. In the bright light, God's voice speaks. It sounds strong and clear. The voice booms, commanding attention and obedience. Arise, at Jonah. The command echoes through the light, shaping destinies. Go to Nineveh. Jonah bows his head in solemn prayer, his heart ready to follow where fear once held him back. Yes, Lord, this time I will go. Under the vast sky of Nineveh, Jonah appears amidst the vibrant chaos of the city, a solitary figure against the bustling backdrop. He lifts his hands high, eyes blazing with conviction. His voice rings out across the crowded streets, stirring hearts with a message too urgent to ignore. People halt, faces etched with curiosity and doubt as the prophet's voice slices through the noise. His words carry weight, stirring hearts long hardened by fear and pride. You've built towers of pride and streets of injustice, Jonah declares. But the Lord sees beyond your walls. He sees your hearts, and he calls you to turn. 40 days more, and this city will fall, unless you turn from evil, Jonah cries. Let your cruelty end. Let your prayers begin. Mercy is still possible. The crowd stands still, contemplating Jonah's words, their faces etched with fear and uncertainty as the weight of his prophecy settles upon them. The news of impending doom reaches the king. He retreats into the silence of his palace, crown heavy, heart heavier as the weight of judgment presses against stone and soul. He kneels, royal robes pooling on cold stone, shadowed halls echoing his silence. The weight of judgment presses on his soul, heavier than any crown he's ever worn. With his head bowed low, he yields to a power far beyond his throne. The palace holds its breath silent, save for the hush of his trembling prayers. At the foot of his throne, the king removes his crown, its glory now hollow. Power fades in his hands as repentance rises in his heart. The silence feels heavier than judgment. The city holds its breath. Dust hangs in the air. Fear finds its voice echoing through alleys and palaces alike. Even the stones seem to tremble beneath the weight of repentance. The king's voice rises above the murmur. Let everyone fast and pray. From the greatest to the least, let hearts cry out. His decree echoes like thunder across trembling Nineveh. The people fall to their knees. A city begins to tremble not in fear but in repentance. The streets echo not with noise, but with prayer. Under the vast, indifferent sky, Jonah sits alone on the hillside, overlooking the sprawling city of Nineveh. The city sprawls beneath him, unaware of the judgment he believes is soon to come. Jonah waits for judgment, but judgment never comes, only silence. And then, his figure is silhouetted against the soft light, an aura of solemnity surrounding him. Something out of this world, voice of God. Jonah, is it right for you to be angry? In a hushed tone, Jonah whispers, Lord, you forgive so easily. Even them. A gentle echo reverberates through the vast, unknown space, filling the emptiness. The source of the voice remains unseen, its power resonating in the silence. The voice of God, soft yet commanding, pierces the void. At Jonah, if I showed mercy to you, should I not show it to them? Voice of God, you cared for the vine, though you did not plant it. Should I not care for Nineveh, that great city, home to over 120,000 souls, whom I created? And there, on the quiet hillside, Jonah learns something big. You don't have to earn God's love. He gives it freely. No thunder, no fire, just kindness, quietly staying. God's mercy reaches everyone, even those we overlook. Jonah ran, Nineveh turned, but God's love never gave up. Subscribe to @Faith in Motion for you for more faith-filled stories.